be.
The views expressed on the following broadcasts do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guest. Take 12 Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
When the static of life fills your brain and the world seems a little too insane, just twist that dial, don't hesitate. There's a haven where good vibes await.
Where?
Tune in and Take 12.
That's right.
For some joy and cheer. It's the sound of hope coming in crystal clear. Recovery talk, the music so grand.
Yeah.
A beacon of light, a helping hand.
Well, greetings one and all, and welcome to another fine broadcast of the world's original recovery talk and recovery music radio station and podcast, coming to you from North Glen, Colorado, from trudgingtogether.org, Mr. Dion Miller.
Monday.
And from Huntington Beach, California, and came to believe recovery, Mr. Roger McDermott.
Hello, everybody.
And I
Happy
am the
Monday.
Monty Man, recovered alcoholic, an all-around great personality, right? Cheery. Nothing to complain about this week. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I do. So we'll see what that's all about here in a minute. The Make Believe Take 12 Recovery Radio Orchestra, of course. And a snapshot of Step 10. All here at Take12Radio.com. I'm just as bad as I used to be. I love that. Chris Stapleton. So welcome aboard, one and all. Hey, listen, coming up, we got a couple of weeks now, but coming up on a very special broadcast of the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show, Friday, April 3rd, my guest will be Andrew Ace Greenspan. Now, Andrew Ace is a pianist, a vocal musician, a singer-songwriter, recovery recording artist from Nyack, New York. And let me tell you about this guy. He's a young man who is living rough and hanging tough, which is the name of a new song of his. But we're going to be listening to some other music of his as well on April 3rd. This guy has overcome addiction, mental health, developmental challenges, and chronic neurological pain. I can't even imagine what that is. And he has been through the ringer, and he is using all of that to help other people. He takes his music into places where people are hurting to help lift them up. Just a great young man. He performs classic hits and does amazing covers. Some Billy Joel stuff and what I can't. I just lost my train of thought. It just went out there. It just. Anyway, the kid is awesome. Anyway, we're going to be featuring some of his music and talking about his story of experience, strength, and hope on Friday, April 3rd. That's Andrew Ace Greenspan. The graphic should be popping up right about now. If you're watching on our video, there it is. All righty. Welcome to the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show. And today's kind of a special day for both my co-hosts. Dion, what's going on with you today?
Yeah, a couple of things. So the first time I got sober, I was 18. Today would have been that date. It was my original sobriety date. It was kind of a big deal to my wife and I. When I got sober the first time, my current wife was my girlfriend.
Oh.
There's a whole story behind that. But we got back together, and as of today, we have been married 14 years. Today is our wedding anniversary.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a long time for Dion. I don't think I stayed in a relationship longer than 3-4 years.
Well, happy anniversary, brother.
Thanks,
That is really cool. Very, very, very cool. And tell your wife thank you so much for loaning her wonderful husband to us on Mondays.
Absolutely will.
She deserves a Medal of Honor. 14 years with Dion.
Yeah.
A Medal of Honor. I will tell her that.
And Roger, you're in an interesting location, a little ways away from home. Where are you at right now, buddy?
I am in New York City right now.
New York
Yes,
City.
yes. And you're getting ready to take a little walk tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow is the St. Patrick's Day Parade, and for the last 15 or 16 years, they've organized the Sober St. Patrick's Day March, and we'll be marching in that.
And it's a big deal.
How cool.
It's a pretty big deal. It's fun.
Yeah.
And we end up, at the end of the parade route, we end up in the Ukrainian embassy, where we'll be having a celebration the rest of the evening. So it's going to be really exciting.
Fun.
Wow! So you're going to be joining some of the folks from Came to Believe Recovery.
Yes.
There, right? Yeah.
I'm with Dale Barker right now, and we'll be joining the rest of the team tomorrow.
We'll tell Dale hello. Send him our love for
Dale. Monty says hello. Sends his love.
Yes. I'm surprised he's not in the
And
background.
Dale said, "Send money."
He said your dues are due.
We can't afford to get back home. Send money. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that is really cool. Let's see what's next up here.
Excuse me for a minute. Hey, everybody, it's that time of the show where the Monty Man whimpers and whines about something he's powerless over.
I can't wait.
It's the Monty Man's Weekly Whine.
Life's too short to let the blues bring you down. Week after week, what's the use of the grind? Join the dance of life, leave your worries behind.
Where's the baby? There's the baby. All right, it's time for the weekly whine where I complain about something I'm probably powerless over. So, I was not feeling too wonderful the other day and decided that I was hungry. And so Marcia went to Burger King. And I said, hey, listen, we're kind of don't have a lot of money right now. So they got a deal at Burger King right now, 2 for $5, right? I mean, how can you beat that? So you can get 2 chicken sandwiches for $5, or you can get a chicken sandwich and a hamburger for $5, or whatever. 2 for $5, or 3 for $7. Now, in today's world, even though it's processed garbage, even processed garbage food is expensive, right? So this is a pretty good deal, I think. So she comes home with 1 chicken sandwich. I go, didn't you want one? She goes, no, not really. I said, but they were 2 for $5. And she went, oh. I said, so how much did you pay for this? She goes, $7.95. What? So if they're 2 for $5, then 1 would be how much? Do the math. $2.50.
$7.59.
You would think, but because people behind the register at places like Burger King are not taught to think for themselves or do math, they can't do it. Or the computers, this is the excuse we get. Well, the computer is programmed and we can't do it that way. And you know what I discovered a long time ago? You can do whatever you want if you want to do it bad enough.
Yeah.
You really can. And so you can make it work. And so you don't have customers in food service or in the hotel world. You have guests. And your guests, if they want one chicken sandwich for $2.50 or 2 for $5, by golly, they should get it. Well, here's the even worse than that. So, it's 3 for $7. 3 for $7, but she paid $7.95 for one. Somebody
Monty,
explain to me what's going on.
This would have never happened had you been there.
I would have embarrassed my wife. She'd been
Of course
going.
you would have, yes.
She would have been going. Don't do it. Don't do. Oh, he's going to do it.
Gonna do it.
But
So, did you get in your car and drive back to Burger King and say, "What is up with this? 1 for $7.95."
no. But you know what? If I'm not going to do that, it's my own fault, I guess. Well, here's the other thing. I was on the way to my 12-step home group 2 weeks ago, and I felt my sugar level dropping a little bit, which rarely ever happens. But I hadn't eaten all day. I forgot. So I thought, okay. And if Alicia's listening, close your ears, Alicia. I pulled into Burger King and I ordered a double rodeo burger. Okay, so a rodeo burger is, if listeners can't see this, but this little disc in my hand, it's smaller than this. Okay, they're small. And if I'm going to eat one of those things, I don't want a lot anyway. I just want this little thing, and it's small. So it cost me, I think it was like $6 something, right? And I open it up as I'm driving, and it's not a double rodeo burger. It's a single rodeo burger. Same restaurant. So, see, I should have known better. Should have known better.
Should have known.
I think the worst offender of all, though, and I don't know if anybody out there has had this experience or not, is Taco Bell. I don't think I've ever gotten my order right. I don't eat at Taco Bell anymore at all. But I don't think I ever got my order right for years. I get somebody else's orders. It was messed up, and you can't stop and check it because people behind you are impatient and they're honking their horn and all that stuff. What it comes down to is processed food drive-through lines. We shouldn't be going to them anyway. It's kind of our
I
own
was just going to
fault.
ask that question. Why are you going to Burger King and Taco Bell, Monty?
Because I was in a rush.
Why not
Rush.
Chick-fil-A or something that's a little
Oh, I
more-
don't like Chick-fil-A.
That's more healthy than those other two.
The chicken
It's
sandwich
but
and
you know
burger.
what? Yeah, I don't like
Is it the food or the place?
No, it's the food. I just don't. Chick-fil-A isn't that good. I just don't think it's all that great. I don't see what all the
Because it's
hubbub.
not as processed junk as the ones you go to.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you did this?
And it's not just fast food. I've been going to this Mexican restaurant for years, and in the last year,
Yeah,
they never get my order right. No,
you never get it right.
once.
Is it a sit down? You go down and sit down.
Well, we order, bring it back.
Yeah.
But it's never correct ever.
So
And it's not a hard order. It's a smothered beef burrito. It is not that hard of an order.
what gets me is if you go down to a sit down restaurant and they never like the salads. They never put enough dressing on them. Right? They're dry. So I always say, can you give me a little extra? Italian or Thousand Island. Sure. No problem. And then they never come back. They disappear. Yeah. It's like, so you know what? I need to start bringing my own. That's what I need to do.
A belt buckle with some Thousand Island in it.
A belt buckle, a flask. What are you doing there? I thought you gave that up. Nah, it's my dressing. All right, that does for the weekly wine. Well.
Take a look around. Life's too short to let the blues bring you down. Week after week, what's the use of the grind? Join the dance of life, leave your worries behind.
That's good advice. We'll be right back. Listen to this. Here's a question for you. Have you ever felt stagnant in your recovery? Kind of like you were stuck in your recovery.
Well, I've been there, and I'm sure you have too at times. Hey, it's the Monty Man from Take 12 Recovery Radio, and here's a quote from one of my favorite authors. Without self-acceptance, there can be no change, no honesty, no physical sobriety, and no emotional sobriety. It's from the book 12 Essential Insights for Emotional Sobriety, Getting Your Recovery Unstuck, by our good friend and Take 12 Recovery Radio contributor, Dr. Alan Berger. I want to get a copy of this book in your hand. Everyone in the recovery community, and probably many that are not, would benefit from this amazing book. You want to enhance your recovery? You want to move further on in the progression of being a better version of your authentic self? You need to get this book. Dr. Alan Berger's book, 12 Essential Insights for Emotional Sobriety, Getting Your Recovery Unstuck, is available by visiting his website at abphd.com. This book is also available on Amazon. You and I know the 12 steps. Now, know the 12 essential insights for emotional sobriety.
I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me. I can't change the way I am, you see. I think it's my responsibility to tell you I'm just as bad as I used to be. Yes.
Yeah. Interesting lyric. I can't change the way I am. That's actually very true. I left to my own devices and am unable to do any good thing left to my own devices. Aren't you glad that we're no longer left to our own devices because of this wonderful power, our Creator, the divine, the God who is God, who's in our life, doing for us what we cannot do for ourselves, and that's giving us the power and the ability to do things like continue to take personal inventory, and when we're wrong, promptly admitting it. And that's step 10 for those of you who may not know. Often you guys, we hear people talk about going through the steps every year. I'm not opposed to that. Recapping and, that's fine, I suppose. But I think if we're not living in 10, 11, and 12 on a daily basis, we might want to reconsider that and actually think about doing that. For those of you who may think that, I just go through the steps 1 through 12 every year, and when I get to December, I'm done or whatever. Boy, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. I personally don't think that living in 10, 11, and 12 is that much work or struggle. If we do it on a regular basis, I think it is more of a kind of an automatic thing. What about you guys? I mean, I know you both of you believe very much in when retiring at night, reviewing your day, awakening in the morning, asking God to guide you and direct your steps, and then giving away what's been given to you. I know you guys live in that. Is it a chore for you to live in 10, 11, and 12, or is it more automatic? Who wants to tackle this first?
Practice, right? Practice these principles in all of our affairs. And it was kind of like when I first started drumming. I was playing this beat, and this other drummer tells me, "Okay, you got that beat. It's good, but what you need to do is you need to practice it so long that you can order a 5-course meal while you're playing it. Then you won't have it down." And he was saying you got to create that muscle memory, and that's what 10, 11, and 12 does for me. For me, it's automatic now. But it wasn't always. I had to do it over and over and over again. And even then, I wouldn't say it's 100% automatic. I'm human. I still make mistakes. But a good portion of it, I tend to ignore my first thought anyway, because I know it's not much good.
Yeah, well, Mark Lundholm says first thought wrong, right?
Yeah, first thought's wrong. Yeah. which I really attached to that saying.
Yeah.
But now I get to think things through and see what it might affect. So yeah, it's kind of become automatic, which is nice, because my mind doesn't race compulsively like it used to. So it's kind of nice.
Do you, Dion? Do you actually go through the motions of reviewing your day and writing it down, or thinking it out loud, or how do you do that? I mean, before you go to bed,
I literally take care of things as they come along. If something happens, it says to take care of it. I do constructively review my day at the end of the day, but a lot of it at that point is usually it was a good day. I stayed sober. Is there something I could have done better? I usually go through that in the moment, so that at the end of the day, I don't have much to review. If I have to make an amend, by that time, I've already made the decision that I've already made the amend, or I've already made the decision when to make the amend, because I don't like things to carry on.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
Do I follow it directly by the big book? No, I've got my own system, but I do it.
Do you think that the directives in the big book on 10 and 11, steps 10 and 11, the way it's laid out, kind of, this is what you do. You do A, you do B, you do C, like that, is probably more for the newcomer, and then later it becomes more of something we just intuitively know how to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I call the Karate Kid portion of the program, where you're
good.
developing these skills, but you haven't used them yet, so you don't know that you have them.
Right.
And then something happens, and you see that you have the skill. It's a great way to get started, but yeah, everybody has their way, so you're going to find yours, but we got to get started somewhere, like with anything.
Yeah.
But I think we all kind of do it a little different, because we're all different people, and that's okay too.
Roger, how about you, buddy?
I totally agree with what Dan said. I'm all about the now, living in the moment, and recognizing if something is amiss in the moment, you take care of it ASAP. So when I get to the end of the day, I do review my day, but I have very little to review because I have been taking care of it and taking action throughout the day. I don't want to let it set until the evening or before I go to bed. I want a clean slate when I lay my head down. I don't want anything in my head that I knew needed to be taken care of and I didn't do it. So, yeah, I definitely do it in the now. And that word intuitive is, I think, very important, which is mentioned in the Nine Step Promises. That when we practice these principles in all our affairs, the things that used to be baffling are now intuitive. And Dion said it. It's mental muscle memory. So you become aware of when you're doing something that's not right. You want to immediately address it. And I don't want to be carrying baggage at the end of the day of things that I haven't resolved or I haven't reconciled. So I'm all about doing it ASAP.
So we continue to. I love the way it puts it. We continue to be watchful, sensitive to where we may be selfish or self-centered or self-seeking or arouse jealousy or create conflict, or maybe we weren't as kind with our words. I can usually bring those to mind pretty easy. Like if I snap at the guy at the gas station, I'm pretty determined that I want to take care of that before the sun goes down. You know what I mean? Or before I actually leave the parking lot or the. But there are times when promptly admitting I'm wrong may not be wise to address the person I've wronged promptly, because they may be processors. They may not be ready to hear it yet. Yeah, and that one of the mistakes I made early on in my step work was I would go to the person like right after I offended them and tried to fix it. And much of the time it was fine, but there were times when it wasn't. Promptly admitting I was wrong was one thing, but actually engaging with the person, sometimes you got to wait, you know. And I think I mentioned it before. My youngest son, Colin, and my wife, they're both processors. And I remember one time I raised my voice. I seldom have raised my voice with my kids. But the couple times I did, it was so unusual, it kind of threw him into shock. You know what I mean? And Colin really it really hurt him. And he was young, and he ran upstairs to his room, and he was just kind of in shock. And I immediately thought, oh my gosh, I got to fix this right now. And Marcia said, nope, slow your roll. He's a processor like me. He's not going to hear it right now. And that drove me nuts because I wanted to fix it so bad. You know what I mean? You know, but sometimes we have to be patient and wait. But I think we promptly admit we're wrong right away. I mean, I knew as soon as it left my mouth, I was like, oh, it was almost like, you ever lock your keys in your car and you watch the car door shut as you realize the keys are, and it's like you can't do anything about it, you know, but you recognize it right away, and you're like, oh, no. So that's kind of what that was like. Have you ever had anybody? See which one of you guys want to address it. Have you ever gone to somebody to right the wrong too early?
Absolutely. I have codependency problems. Yes. What does it say in the big book? Having tact. And, right? I believe that's what it says. You know, it's been a while since I've done something so grievous that I've had to wait to apologize to someone. But yeah, like if I hurt my wife, I want it fixed right away. I do, and it will. To this day, it'll still drive me nuts. But if she's not ready to talk, I need to respect that. So what do? Okay, I'll check it in a couple of days. But in that moment, what are we going to do in those 2 days? All right, we got to let go, let God, right?
Yeah.
Maybe try and be a better person. Work that living amends, right? Absolutely, I have. I'm also horrible at giving presents. I can't wait. I just have patience, right? And it's the same thing, especially if my wife is hurting. It drives me nuts.
So is it that you want her to be okay, or is it that you can't stand the feeling you feel because of what you did?
It's the second one. Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's the
right.
guilt.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I have to admit it.
So that's a form of selfishness, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a form of selfishness. I want to fix it so I'll feel better.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Roger, how about you? You ever try to make amends or fix the problem too soon?
I've made every mistake that you can.
Me too.
Every single one of them, and not just once. I've made them numerous times.
Yeah.
And now I'm very aware of what my motives are, but I still make mistakes because I'm by nature, a broken nature, I'm a fixer, and I'm codependent. So, and I'm selfish, which I have identified all those and want them to go away and leave forever. But they do raise their ugly head occasionally, and I'm aware of it. So I really have to practice patience, which is, you know, when you pray for patience, you get tribulation, which
brings about patience.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yes, I've made every mistake. I mean, being a fixer, being self-centered, being codependent. Those are things that are part of my character defects that I've gotten rid of. But there's residual there, and I'm aware of them. So I don't make the mistakes that I used to as frequently as I used to, but I still do. Mm-hmm. What happens is I get those feelings of I want to fix it or I want to make direct amends immediately. And I'm really aware of the fact that I need to be patient and I need to pray. I need God's help in helping me do the right thing at the right time for the right reason in the right place to the right person the first time, which I never did in my life. But that's a Hawaiian term that I really try to live by now.
So let's flip it on its head here for a minute. About what about people
painful, Monty.
It is painful. Ow. So what about when somebody's wronged you and you feel like they owe you an amends and it doesn't seem like they're moving in that direction?
What's your question?
So I guess my question is, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? Does it ruminate and bug you, or do you just let it go? Is it something that, they what they did was really hurtful, and I'm just gonna trust God and in God's timing. If they make amends, they do. If they don't, they don't, and it's okay. Or does it kind of tick you off? Be honest.
I don't. So I've worked really, really hard of not empowering people, places, and things to ruin my moment.
Mm-hmm.
Which includes people that say things maybe they didn't mean, or I took it the wrong way and that wasn't their intention. I try to remove that anticipation of them doing something to make what I thought was wrong right.
Right.
I don't go there anymore. I do initially when emotions come up, but then I have a very serious conversation with myself, and I pray, and I ask, what principle am I applying to this situation? And it doesn't reconcile my initial emotion. Emotions are real, but they're not always based in fact or truth. And so I try to not empower people, places, and things to ruin my moment.
Yeah.
So if someone's misbehaving and they did something that I took, that I took poorly, I'm like, what would the book say? Pray for them, and pray for me, and just I don't. If they don't make amends to me, I'm okay. It's not going to mess up my day, and I'm not going to carry it. I'm not carrying it, even though for the moment, maybe I wanted to punch him. But I'm not going there.
Was there a time, however, that you did? It did ruin your day? Let me ask you this, Raj. So when you crossed over from where it did ruin your day to where it just doesn't anymore, can you pinpoint when that happened in your recovery? Or did it just kind of all of a sudden you were like, wow, that doesn't bother me anymore? Or was
nothing in my recovery was all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
It takes practice and prayer and being selfless. I mean, it takes all the things in the 164 pages and, of course, the steps to change this alcoholic. So I didn't have a white lightning all of a sudden, and I was absolutely perfect in my relationships with people, places, and things. I just made decisions along the way that I'm not giving power to people, places, and things to ruin my day. I am not. Even though the feelings come up and say, he or she or it just ruined my day, I go, no, they didn't. Because I'm having a good day despite whatever just took place. Now, I have to have those conversations with myself. But it's not acceptable to me to go there.
Right. You do not give yourself permission to let that knock you off your center.
That is correct.
You just don't have permission.
And like I said, that doesn't mean that the feelings and the emotions didn't come up. But just because they did and they're real doesn't make them right. I want to do the right thing. I want to do the right thing, and I have the principles, and I have God's love, and I have the power of the Spirit to do that, and that's what I want to do. Do I fail? Sure, I make mistakes frequently. If I'm hungry, angry, lonely, and tired, I may not respond appropriately in any given situation. So I try to guard against that as well.
Mm-hmm. So
But it's not acceptable for me to lose my mind. It's just not.
Right. Well, it's interesting because going back to the fourth step, when it says on the bottom of page 66, moving to 67, it says this was our course. So that means this is the direction we're going to travel. We got our compass set north, right? We realized that the people who wronged us were perhaps spiritually sick. So and then it talks about when a person offended. Didn't say if they will. When they will, because people are people-y. And so when a person offended, well, in order for a person to offend me to the degree that it knocks me off my beam, right, I got to give them the power to do that. Mm-hmm. Right? I got to take my boundaries and push them down and move them over here and allow them to come in and do that to me. For years, I thought they were doing it to me under their power. And I discovered I was giving away my power.
Yep. I agree.
So, Dion, you have a passion for, how do I say this?
Advocating, I think is the
yes.
nice,
You have a passion for advocating for others who are in harm's way, who have been taken advantage of by the man, let's say, or the system, or whatever, right?
We'll call them they.
And I know that injustice pisses you off.
I would agree with that.
I know
Absolutely.
that. I know that. But how do you because you confront people all the time, organizations and all that, because you're advocating for people that can't advocate for themselves. That's got to come with a lot of, you got to have thick skin, right?
Yeah, you really do. I'd like to go back a little bit to the original question because, when I got to the program, I didn't have much self-esteem or self-worth. And once I started working on that, my theme song before I got here was, the song, "Oh, Charlie Brown, oh, he's a clown," right? I thought, why is everybody picking on me? That's what I thought. I thought everyone was picking on me. Right, so I describe it this way, and then I'll certainly answer that question. Let's say I get this new suit, and it looks great on me, right? All the girls are saying, that looks good on you. And then some jerk comes along and points out one little deformity on it, and that's what I'm stuck on the rest of the day.
Wow.
That's what my focus is, right? So what wolf are you going to feed here? And wherever you put your attention to is what you're going to get out of it. So I decided about 3-4 years ago that, because I deal with PTSD and anxiety, it comes with a different set of triggers. That I had to be responsible for my triggers. I'm going to tell you, it was a turning point for me. When I made the decision that I was going to be responsible for my triggers, then it didn't allow other people to pass that point. And I treated myself the way I expected others to treat me. And it worked. So,
wow.
Advocating's hard because people don't want to hear it. So yes, I get a lot of pushback. I get a lot of flack. I'm known as the snitch in the recovery community because I report when I see HIPAA violations and things like that. Colorado is dead last in recovery services. And I used to work in detox back in the 90s when, man, we had it going on. We really did. So it's about making people aware. And right now it's a big deal in Colorado because we're voting for our next governor and our next attorney general. And these two people will determine what happens to our recovery community.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fraud. It is mainly this that I work on, though. I went to work at a detox here a few years ago, and there was so much stigma. And the biggest argument we had was whether the clients could watch Netflix or not. That was the argument.
Wow.
It was horrible. They did. Oh, you want help? Here's a piece of paper. Good luck. Serious, and I couldn't do it. So I've been trying to help them make changes over the last 4 years. They refuse. They got a nice, pretty new building, but they're not making it. They won't be responsible for their resources. So last week I told them, bye. Good luck to you. We're not sending any more people your way. We're not going to help you out anymore. So I'm kind of stepping out of the advocation. But what I will do is, let's say something happens to me and it wasn't correct, it wasn't right. I advocate so it doesn't happen to the next person.
Sure.
So even in that, I've got to take myself out of it and take a look at the facts, because it does piss me off. You bet it pisses me off. Okay? But people will also mistake my passion for anger, because I've got this deep voice. And this isn't even my regular voice. I actually trained myself to talk a little bit higher. This is my regular voice. I know you can tell the difference, Monty. This is my regular voice right here. And it's very deep and booming. So I got to be careful. So I bring it up.
Gotcha.
So that people, will listen a little bit better. But there's a lot. I mean, when you talk about advocating, I really have to put down my healthy boundaries. But I'm kind of stepping away from that. I'm moving on to some other things,
But
like a sock puppet show.
right. Yeah, I can't wait for that. I want to see that.
Oh, fun.
So, just shameless plug, not shameful plug, shameless plug. Listeners, I encourage you to check out trudgingtogether.org. That's Dion's website. And him and Roger do. Did you guys get that figured out? Your media?
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Last
Had a
week's
great
show
show
was
last
beautiful.
week. Great show.
Great. So that every other Thursday or Tuesday, every other Tuesday. Yeah.
Yep.
And what's that called?
God-centered recovery.
God-centered recovery. And if you go to trudgingtogether.org, they can pick it up there, right?
Absolutely. It's got its own little nice spot right on there.
Yeah. So listeners, go check that out. Visit Dion Miller's Facebook page as well, and you will experience his passion. I promise. But yeah, and I think that you said something. I think people misunderstand sometimes. I mean, I will misunderstand somebody's. Maybe somebody just has kind of a firm personality. Mm-hmm. And I don't know them, and I just met them, and I think, wow, they don't like me. Well, it's not that at all. They're just kind of rough around the edges. There's just people like that. There are people that you swear smile constantly, right? And even when they're angry, they're smiling, And then there are people that look like they're angry all the time, and they're not. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or maybe they were for a long time and their face just kind of went that way. I don't know. But we all run into people and we make these assumptions, and then we fall into expectations and all that kind of stuff. I would say that probably the majority of the of what I interpret as being negative and something that is hurtful toward me from somebody is in my head. Much of the time when it happens, it doesn't happen much anymore, but once in a while I'm thinking, wow, what did I say? And sometimes you didn't say anything. It is what it is. And so when reviewing my day, I got to tell you, I can't remember the last time that I flipped out. I just can't. But there was a time, you guys, and you've heard me talk about it before, where I was so emotionally dependent on what I thought you thought about me that it dictated my every move.
Yeah.
My imagination was in control.
we had we were in a meeting the other day, and there was an older gentleman who came in. The first thing he said was, I was taught when I first came to the program that we don't swear, and he kind of got on swearing a little bit. 3 people reached out to me thinking that he was talking about them. I was the 4th. Right? So what does that tell you? I don't think he was really picking on anybody. It's just that I tend to think I am the center of the world.
Yeah.
So every comment made is about me, is it not?
Well, and then we think we're the only ones that possibly could do what the guy's saying. Like we're the only one. I remember attending a rather small church. Maybe 50 people came. Right. So when the pastor's looking at you, you know it. When there's only 50 people, I mean, he's looking at you. But just because he's looking at you doesn't mean that what he's saying is about you. It just means that he knows how to make eye contact because he's a good speaker.
Yes.
Get over it.
Well, I think you're taught to make eye contact with the audience.
But I will tell you, I was on a medication. I think, was it Neurontin? I think it was Neurontin years ago. And it just made me really sleepy, right? And so I'd be sitting in church, and Pastor Mitch, he was a good friend of mine. All of a sudden I would hear, Monty. And it was him. Wake up. Monty. Call me out. Oh, my goodness sakes. Yeah. So, well, isn't it interesting when it comes to other people? Most of our struggles, where we really struggle in life, have to do with relational problems, right? Or situations. Very rarely am I yelling at an inanimate object. Once in a while. Like that stupid pen is out of ink. What, and then I'm like, the people that make pens are against me.
Yeah.
Right? Because
I'll yell at a door after I walk into it. I'll be like, excuse me, Mr. Door. Pardon me. Did you see that wall? It was in my way.
But is it interesting, guys, isn't it, that just like an inanimate object is not doing anything against you, most of the time people aren't either. Mm-hmm. People are having, what does it say in step 4? Though we did not like their symptoms of the way they disturbed us, they, like ourselves, were sick too. I don't think there's anybody running around this good old earth that is completely all right. I'm pretty close. Then comes Roger, and then Dion. You follow that. The 3 of us, we're pretty close to being all set, right?
Yeah, we're getting closer.
So here's an exercise, and I'm going to give it to the listeners. If you would be so bold to take the person that you feel you're the closest to and ask them to write 3 things that they think you could improve on.
Wow.
I dare you. And then put no expectations on what you think they should write.
Yeah.
You may be shocked. I said something, you're not long ago, both the boys are over and they're all grown and, have families and everything. I said, guys, you guys growing up, I was the most reasonable, easygoing dad that you could think of. And they just started busting up. They thought that was the most hilarious thing in the world. But I was. Where in the heck did they get the perception that I wasn't? I was the cool dad.
Yeah.
I still think I was.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, Monty.
And you know why? Because I was.
That's right.
mind.
That's where it counts, right? All right.
Don't they know how important you are?
I know. All right, before we do our closing songs, closing thoughts, you guys, who wants to go first? Step 10.
Step 10. I call it the human step because it gives you the right to be wrong. And when you are wrong, you learn. So be wrong often.
Whoa. That's good. Be wrong often. That's hard to do when you're right so much.
Well, it's funny because the number two, there are two top songs on my podcast. The first one is Finding Love in All the Wrong Places. The second one is Hard to Be Humble.
Oh, that's
Those
a
are the
great
two
song,
main
isn't it?
songs brought up in my podcast.
Roger, closing thoughts on step 10.
Yeah, one of my wife's favorite songs early on in our relationship was You're So Vain by Carly Simon.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and so you can bet that I had lots of resentments about that. But, step 10's a gift, and the more that I can call myself out when wrong and make immediate amends or corrective action, the better I am and the better I feel and the more approachable I am. And I want to be that guy. So I know everywhere I go, my problems go with me, but so do my experiences and the power of God and 10, 11, and 12. And so I have choices I can make in every moment. And I try to, like I said before, that Hawaiian term kine ole means do the right thing at the right time for the right reason in the right place to the right person the first time. And I believe it's a summation of the steps, and it's exactly what 10, 11, and 12 mean. And so I try to do that, and sometimes I fail. And when I do, I got to admit it, number one, to myself, number two, to God, or number one to God, and number two, myself, either way, and then do whatever I need to do to make it right. And I don't want that. And when I do that, I am free. I am free of Roger. I don't want to carry the burden of self-importance and all that stuff, throughout the day. I just want to be loving, kind, and tolerant. I want to be of service, and I want to stay out of my own way, which is what my sponsor would tell me every single day. Stay out of the way, stay out of the way, stay out of the way.
I love it. Good stuff, guys. Really, really good stuff. All right. I love this artist. His name is Delta Blues Brother.
Nice.
Have you ever heard this guy?
No.
What I mean? Delta
I
Blues
love
Brother?
the name already.
Yeah. So his song is called Stupid Once, Stupid Forever. Check it out.
Love it.
Some folks think time fixes everything. Time don't fix stupid. Back in 92, knew everything before you spoke. Didn't matter what the facts might say, his mind was already wrote. 30 years and a gray beard later, ran into him downtown. Same loud voice, same hard head, still preaching to the crowd. Stupid once, stupid forever. Time don't polish that kind of clever. Stupid once, stupid stays. Just gets louder with the passing days. Got experts everywhere, never built a single thing. Got opinions stacked sky high, like knowledge grows on wind. used to try to slow them down, walk them through it nice and slow. Now I just lean back in my chair. Some things you let go, stupid once, stupid forever. Ain't no school that makes it better. Stupid once, stupid remains, just changes hats and different names. Told near a quiet tree, worth more than winning fights. You can waste 1,000 words on someone wrong and out and right. So if I smile and sip my drink while nonsense fills the air, it ain't surrender, it's just peace. Some battles ain't worth repair. Stupid once, stupid forever. Wisdom walks, stupid I use clever. Stupid once, that's the score. Time adds candles, not much more. Age brings years, not always sense.
Delta Blues Brothers, Stupid Once, Stupid Forever. Absolutely love it. All right. My closing thought is this. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Until next time, this is the Monty Man along with the rest of the Take 12 Recovery Radio family, and we are wishing God's perfect serenity for each and every one of you.
Don't let the weights of the past keep you down. There's a melody here to turn it around. In each story and song you'll find a friend, a chorus of courage that'll never end.
This has been a broadcast of Take 12 Recovery Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Kitty, 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 kitty.
This has been a Chicken and a Pig production.